Hey, welcome back, everybody. The Cypress Sports Show brought to you by Coach's Corner, your go-to spot before and after the game. I'm Jeff Russell here with Mark Slevcove. Today we welcome Coach Terry Thompson to the program, catch up with some tennis players in our segment, How Well Do You Know? Coach Slevcove, Friday night's game, tough one for Catella, but pretty good for us. Catella had some issues going on that night, made it a little bit tough for them.
Yeah, they had their coach out with COVID. They had some players out, so their team wasn't at full strength, and we certainly took advantage of it right away.
Yeah, the offense was moving. Definitely got some quick early scores and kind of put them behind the eight ball, and they were never able to catch up. So great job, Coach Feldman, for getting that done. Coach Crooks, the whole crew, outstanding job again. It did give us a chance also to kind of get some guys some reps that could be beneficial. Some guys that don't always play, they got in the game, and hopefully in the weeks to come, that will definitely help us out as we move on. Well, this week we have Capo Valley. Absolutely going to be an exciting game. I would imagine it has been the last few times we've played them. They're a great school. Their football program is outstanding. So I'm sure that's going to be a very tough game for our football team. And then, of course, we have other sports going on. So what do you got for the report?
Oh, here we go. Here's our fall sports report. Last week, football goes 40-0 victory over Catella. Makes us 4-0 on the year. OC Register has us ranked at number 10 in the county. We moved up to get out of the tie for 10th, and now it's 10th by ourselves. LA Times moved us up one spot to number 18 in all the Southland. Girls volleyball is off to a 2-0 start in league after a 3-1 victory over Tustin and a 3-0 sweep over Pacifica. Number 14 in the CIF Division 1-2 rankings. Those divisions get decided at the end of the year where we will fall either in Division 1 or Division 2. Girls tennis is 7-3 on the season. They haven't opened up league yet. They do that this week versus Kennedy. And then, of course, against big league rival Valencia on Thursday. Every year it comes down to Valencia and Cypress in girls tennis for a league championship. I would imagine the same thing happens again this year. Boys water polo lost to Downey in their one game last week. Their record's 4-4 on the season with a game at South Torrance this week before starting league next week. Cross country ran in the Woodbridge Invitational last Thursday at the OC Great Park. This was a new course at the Great Park. Raymond Rodriguez, our senior captain, ran a great time again at 15:23 to finish 7th in the boys varsity heat out of 191 runners. So great run there. Matt Huang with the nice time of 15:57 to place 31st. And then a couple breakouts from McCovey Jackson and Aiden Kobo, who broke 17 minutes in the race. And then girls golf, 2 league matches this week. First Valencia at the Navy course, and then we go to Lakewood Country Club to go play Kennedy.
Yeah, so we're definitely moving at this point. Great start to the fall season for us. A lot of sports are going to be moving into league play. Before we get to that league play and before we move on in the show, we found some time to catch up with some tennis athletes and ask them, how well do you know your sport? Here's what they had to say.
All right, we're here with junior tennis player Adrian Baltazar, sophomore tennis player Mia Thomas, 12th grader tennis player Kaylee Chung, counselor Carrie Vaughn. We got some questions for you on how well you know tennis. First question, how many Grand Slam tournaments are there?
I would say like 10.
10 tournaments, 10 Grand Slams. Can you name any of them?
4.
Can you name them?
Okay, Wimbledon. This one. No, I don't know. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. At least 5.
At least 5. Okay, can you name any of them?
French, US, Wimbledon, Indian.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm like blinking. Like tournaments, there's like Wimbledon, there's like US Open, there's. Oh my gosh.
So how many?
4.
4?
4, yeah.
Do you know which one's the oldest?
Wimbledon?
What year do you think Wimbledon started?
Somewhere in the 19.
Okay.
Something.
You think you named all 4 right?
Possibly.
There are 4.
Can you name them?
Yes, I can. Wimbledon, Australian Open, French Open, and the US Open.
And which one's the oldest?
Wimbledon,
What year did Wimbledon first start?
1877.
That's pretty good. Okay. All right, second question. In what country did tennis start?
I would guess like Europe. There's a lot of good players there.
No clue.
No, I've never heard of that country.
No. No.
Somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
France, maybe? Yeah, France.
That would be France.
Number 3, why is there fuzz on a tennis ball?
If I had to guess, I would probably say, because it like feels nice.
Fuzz on a wait. That's a good question.
It's for friction, so when like you hit the ball and you try to do topspin, the ball will go into the court.
It's a very good question. It's a question I don't know.
It helps to control the speed, the spin on a variety of court surfaces.
And last question, which counselor at Cypress played tennis?
I would have to say maybe Miss Vaughn.
Which counselor? I don't know all of our counselors either.
Justin?
Who's your counselor?
Hurtado, maybe?
You think Hurtado played tennis? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think he played tennis. Okay.
That would be me, Miss Vaughn.
Great stuff again. Next week, we're going to catch up with some boys water polo players, find out how well they know their goalkeeper. So look forward to seeing that. Today, we welcome Coach Terry Thompson on the program, a new guest. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Coach, you're not only a varsity assistant coach for football, you are our new softball coach and actually the owner of Coach's Corner, our sponsor. Time management, man. You must be an expert in time management with everything you have going on. How do you balance all those jobs, number one? And then how excited are you to get going into softball as well as football?
Not easy. And those are my 3 hobbies. I've got 2 other jobs on top of that. So those are 3 things that I really enjoy. I really enjoy coaching and the restaurant. I see the youth over there and enjoy themselves at the restaurant. We've been open now for 2 months, so we're back rolling, after the whole COVID and moving locations, and we're back up and running, and everything's going pretty well. We've done quite a few fundraisers. This week we did youth baseball yesterday. Tonight we've got AYSO. So a lot of stuff in the community we're doing, and everything, knock on wood, is going pretty well.
Now, Coach, remind us again of the address and the location of Coach's.
4756. We are on Lincoln Avenue. Lincoln and Moody would be the closest cross streets. We've got probably occupancy of probably 150, significantly lower than the other location, but I think it's a nice intimate setting. I think it's.
And you guys are a great employer of our local high school students.
We do. We have our starting quarterback is employed there. Our starting receiver is employed there. I think we've got about 5 football players that are employed there, as various water polo and other athletes at the school. So really trying to help the kids out and get their first jobs of implementing in the job.
Very cool. Before we get to the football questions, what's softball been up to and how's it going so far?
Softball, since school started, we started weightlifting. And we've been on the field Mondays and Wednesdays, Tuesday, Thursday in the weight room. We started implementing our bunt defense, little first and third defense, stuff that we want to kind of get out of the way early. So when we get to the season, we've already got that stuff established. Weight room is new for a lot of these girls. Some of the older ones have been in with us before. But just getting them acclimated with using their own body weight. And this week we slowly got into, starting today, we're using some free weights. So it's going pretty well with the girls.
Build up the fundamentals now, and then we move into the more advanced techniques and advanced skills.
That's a plan. Yep, that's a plan. We've got 2 returning senior players, so we're young, but yet experienced on the other end. We've got some girls that have been with me since their freshman year with Coach Dole. So I think we should be okay. It should be fun this year.
Now, Coach, football-wise, you're in charge of the special teams. Last week, that really showed how important that is to the key of success in football. You guys made a lot of really good plays. We have some awesome young guys on special teams who have been doing great. Kicker Logan Kennedy, the holder Chase Sparks, the returner Matthew Baldonado. With both of the offenses this week being pretty good at putting up points, it's going to put some pressure on those guys and playing a key role in those special teams. So what will be the main focus for special teams as we move into that Capo game?
This week is an interesting week from the standpoint of Capo has so many fakes that they use on their punts. They have 3 different punt fakes. They have field goal PAT fakes. So we've had to put a big emphasis this week, yesterday at practice, of showing all the routes and everything they do. They've onside kicked almost every game and been pretty successful at it. So that takes away from our practice plan having to put so much into working on all of their little trick gimmick plays that they use. And frankly, they want to get the ball back to their offense. They're so dynamic. They want to just get the ball back as much as they can. So those three kids that you talked about have been so big for us being sophomores. Logan's been kicking for us. Jason's been a holder. And Matthew's been a returner. I mean, to think of three sophomores to put into that pressure spots has been pretty remarkable that all three of them have been so successful. Logan's kicked 2 field goals, which is, I mean, not Feldman's way, right? I mean, as we know that.
Sure.
18 successful extra points. And as far as kickoffs, we have held opponents inside the 30-yard line on an 80% time frame. So, I mean, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, taking
these
advantage.
guys working hard.
Taking advantage of special teams, really important. The field position, we took advantage of that against Catella. They had some bad snaps. We ended up in good positions over and over again. And our offense put up 40 points in 27 minutes of football. Early TDs by Nate Schneider. Matt Morrell got the ball a lot. Even Rocco Burdette got a couple touchdowns, so that's cool to see. What's Capo's strength defensively, and how are we going to spread them out and be effective Friday night?
Well, Capo is very physical. They're very fast. They're not overly big. They're not one of the bigger teams we face, but they're physical and they're fast and they're very smart. So Coach Feldman has not used the same offense. This will be for the 5th week, which is for a defensive coordinator standpoint, it's got to be so difficult. Every week he's putting in new types of offense. And as you alluded to, Nate Schneider, Rocco, guys that hadn't really been prominent the previous 2 games end up coming into the Catella game, and here they are, they're stars. You've got your Morels and your Trevors, and those guys are stars every week. Blake Cusimano's been good. But Coach Feldman will implement a new offense this week, which he has, and you'll see. I anticipating Trevor to have a pretty big game. He was kind of quiet last game. I think Trevor's going to have a pretty good game this week.
Yeah, Coach, defensively for us, I mean, their quarterback, Trey Kukik, I believe, very quick, dynamic quarterback, has over 1,300 yards passing, over 400 yards rushing so far this year in the 5 games that they've played. What's going to be our main point of emphasis when discussing him specifically and his strengths?
With him, it comes down to contain. Contain. The kid is so fast. He's so dynamic with the ball in his hands. So we've put an emphasis on really trying to contain him and keep him in the pocket. If he gets out of the side of the pocket, it's going to be very difficult for our DBs. They're going to have to cover for 8 to 10 seconds. We can do it. I think we match up well with them on the outside, but it comes down to our front of containing him. If we can, we're going to be very successful.
And then defensively, last week, Trevor had a nice game. I think he had 6 or 7 tackles. Braden Zolstrom, same thing, 6 or 7 tackles. They both played well. Take us through the process of preparing for not just their quarterback, but their entire offense. They're fast-paced. They run 75 plays a game, 400-something yards of offense a game. They got some multi-threat players. What are we looking at there?
Well, breaking down film was a big part of theirs. It's route recognition on them. They will throw 4 or 5 guys out in routes, and they're going to try and put us in some bad spots. They're going to throw 2 guys in our corner. So our safeties have to be very, very smart this week of helping off of our corners. But we've just got to contain is the main issue, is just containing this young man who's pretty dynamic. I think we can do it. Jeff Crooks is, when I talk about Feldman on the offensive side of it, we've got just good a coordinator on the defensive side with Jeff Crooks. He's unbelievable. The plan that he puts in place for our defense is amazing. And myself and Fault and Tommy Moreno, we try and help him implement that in. And I mean, it's amazing. We look and I go, where did you come up with that? I mean, so you'll see some stuff this week that I think will be pretty fun and very entertaining.
Coach, this will no doubt be the biggest challenge for us this year. We definitely need to get a lot of people out at the games. Do you want to encourage anybody? You want to talk to them, get them out?
Please come out and watch us. If you're going to go out to any game, I mean, this game is going to be very entertaining, and it should be very impactful for us for the rest of the season.
Awesome, Coach. Well, hey, thanks again to Coach Thompson for being here this week. Don't forget to get out and watch volleyball on Thursday. They're going to be playing, as well as tennis on Thursday. Then head to the stadium on Friday for the football game. Don't forget to get over to Coach's Corner before and after the game on Friday. Hopefully we'll be celebrating after the game with the team. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you at the game. We'll see you again next week.